Good evening. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Conscious Creators ToolBox for this session, for this week's session. It's 7 o'clock, May the 25th, 2023, and it's time for the Conscious Creators ToolBox. Thanks for joining me. Hello, good evening. I see you guys out there. Good to see you. So how's everybody doing tonight? Good. Welcome to our YouTube channel. And if you're here for the first time, please subscribe to us, to our channel, and let me turn this down. Let me get rid of that. Was Michael Jackson, but we don't want to hear it right now. Okay. There we go. Yeah, we stopped. And I'm gonna put him on pause. Okay. Anyway, welcome again to the Conscious Creators ToolBox. Oops, at least I'm on mute here. Yeah. Welcome. Get some technical stuff going on here. Got to learn all these buttons and. Anyway, welcome to the Conscious Creators ToolBox for May the 25th, 2023, 7 o'clock. And it's time for our weekly session from the Conscious Creators Toolbox. And it's an opportunity for us to take a look at our creativity and all of the wonderful tools that we have in our toolbox or tool shed or, under the bed, wherever it is, wherever they happen to be. We got to pull them out, pull a couple of them out every week. Every week we try to pull at least one of them out. Take a look at it up close and get personal with it, sharpen it up, dust it off, oil it up, get it ready to use, and, just kind of, turn it over, turn it upside down, see, make sure that it's working properly and make sure that we know how to use those tools to the best of our manifestation abilities and skills and powers. Okay. So that's what we do on Thursday night. We look at our creativity, our tools in the toolbox. We take them out and sharpen them up and get them ready to use. Okay. So that's what we're doing. We're going to do that tonight. And going to be here for about half hour, 45 minutes. I don't know. Something like that. Going to be here till we're done. Because we're going to be talking about, we're finishing up the last couple of sessions. The last session on ego. And the series on ego, we've been doing ego. And tonight, we're actually going to be looking at we're going to be taking a closer look at how we can retrain or get to know our ego a whole lot better than we used to know ego. Okay, we're going to take that tool out of the tool shed and get it ready to use. And ego is actually one of our tools in our toolbox that we have the opportunity to look at tonight. That's what we're going to take that opportunity to look at tonight. I hear some noise in the background. It kind of distracted me a little bit. Got to keep us focused. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. We're going to finish up the session of the series on ego. And we're going to be specifically taking a look at how we can retrain ego. Ego's been with us since way back when we first came to this third dimension. We came here to third dimension, and as soon as we got here, we kind of got ourselves all figured out, got here, met mom and dad, grandpa, brother, sister, all those family members we got to meet. And then we kind of found our way to a mirror somewhere, and we saw this vision, this visual of this person in the mirror looking back at us. We're looking at you and you're looking at us. And we said, who is that? And our ego was the first time we got to meet ego, because ego stepped up and said, that's you. Or maybe ego said, that's me. Or that's I am. Well, anyway, whatever, however the introduction had taken place way back when, I don't know. We're going to see how much you remember or how much you know about ego. We've talked about ego, this past couple of sessions, past few weeks, and we kind of introduced you to some of the antics of ego and all of the labels and names and things that ego do, and the reactions and the triggers, and we talked about all of that stuff over the past few weeks. So tonight we're going to be looking at getting to know a little bit more about ego, since ego is going to be around for a while. Ego's going to be here with us for I don't know, until we leave, till we take that last breath. And if ego could well, and ego's going to be chiming up and talking and get it buzzing in our ears and all up in our face right up to the end. I guarantee you that. So because ego has been with us from day one, really, or sometime in those early baby days, when before and when we're meeting ego for the first time, we're gonna be we're gonna find out, look and see what have we really taken our time to really look and see. We grew up, we are, some of us are adults and some of us are in our, we're in our adult years, and some even later, in our old age, middle age, and old age years. We grew up. Ego grew up too. And I don't know, did you or did we stop and kind of readjust and kind of get to make sure that ego was up to par, and kind of travel, hanging out with, you gotta hang out with, when you're hanging out with this person, don't you think you ought to know a little bit more about ego than probably most of us do, because basically ego ego is that personality, or that voice that we hear in the in that self kind of talk is just ego talking most of the time, because half the time we're not conscious of it, not are not even aware of it, of ego, and what ego's, that it's really ego that's talking and not our mind. Is the ego's kind of chiming in. So the last few sessions we talked about, you got to know ego, and you got to know how to identify ego, and some of the things that ego do, and some of the responsibilities, the role egos plays in our lives as we travel our journey, traveling in our journey, life journey. And ego is going to be that companion that's going to be traveling with us. And I know, some of us like to see ego go on its merry way, but ego's not going anywhere. Ego's going to, like I said, ego's going to be with us until right down to the last breath that we take. Okay. So I think that's a tool that we ought to make sure that we uh, have fine tuned, set all the boundaries, set all the calibrated, and whatever, or, whatever you have to do to this particular tool, to make sure that it's a decent traveling buddy, a traveling companion, since we're gonna, it's gonna be with us. There's no way, from day in and day out, we'll get into that. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But anyway, that's what we're gonna be. We're gonna be finishing up that session tonight, and we may, as I was kind of going over my notes and pulling the the talk tonight together, we may have to split it in half and do maybe do part one and part two. But we'll see. We'll see how far we get tonight. So let me stop rattling and get on with this. Anyway, you know what I always like to do, what I always like to make sure I do whenever I get the opportunity, I like to remind you who, what, and whose you are. And you know that you are an unlimited, unrestricted, created being, created by and in the image of your God, your Father, your Creator, your source, divine, universe, uh, all of that, and then some. Whatever, whomever you call your creator, your source, your God, you were created from the same stuff of your creator, which is creation energy. And you can do, and you can have, and you can be all that your source, your creator, your Father, God can do, can be, and have. You can be and have. God, your source, Father, divine, the creator, withholds absolutely nothing from you. Everything is accessible to us. We inherited all of this. We inherited all of the power, all of the skills, all of the know-how, and we can do and have and be all that Father can do and have and be. I remind myself, and I remind whoever will listen to me, I will remind them that you're only limited and restricted by what you believe to be your father and your source. I see these little oars flying around my head or whatever's going on here, but must be my must be my spirit guides kind of hanging in there with me. But anyway, just remember that you're only restricted and limited by what you believe of your father, and what your father can do, you can do. You can have and be and 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 you have everything. You inherited. You are your father's child, and you can do like your daddy can do or your father can do. You can do as well. All right. So that's what you are. This is what Conscious Creators Toolbox is all about. We're about letting you know that, keeping you informed of that, identifying your creativity, your creative tools and abilities, and just to kind of rattle off a few of those tools that you use for creating. You are a creator. You cannot not create, because that's what your father does. It's what God does. God gave you that power to do the same. So you can create and you manifest by using your creativity tools. And some of those tools, just to name a few, is your words. God spoke and it was. You speak and it is. Your thoughts become words, and your words and kind of influence your behavior. Behavior is a creative. It's a creative tool as well. Your decisions. You're deciding. Make a decision when you make that intention and you set your mind to it, as they say. That's all part of your creativity. Your emotions, your feelings, those are also creative tools, and they have a role in your creativity as well, and your act of manifestation. So those are just a few of your desires, your dreams. I could rattle them on. Ego is one, because ego is part of that self-talk that you hear, that verbiage that you use. And ego has a way of rising some emotions, and stirring your emotions and your feelings too. So ego has a role in your creativity as well. So that's why I wanted to spend some time. In fact, I've noticed the past this year I've talked about ego quite a bit, but that's okay. Ego loves the publicity. Okay, he loves the attention, or she. So it's okay, but it's a good thing, because, and like I said, 95% of the time we are functioning unconsciously or subconsciously, and our subconscious is taking over, and doing the manifesting and the creating out of our sometimes awareness. So bringing this information to your awareness is part of the game, because it helps you understand that you are indeed the captain of your ship. You're the driver. You are the navigator of your life journey. You are the navigator of your life journey, not mom, dad, sister, brother, pastor, teacher, mayor, president. No, you are the navigator and the captain of your destiny and your life and your reality. You create and bring into your experiences those things that you desire, that you want. And sometimes we manifest and we create things in our lives that we don't really want. And that happens. That happens. We have a slip up, because, like I said, I can tell you now that we operate 5% consciously. Just on an average, 5% we're operating consciously. The rest of the time we're subconscious. So if we're defaulting to subconscious, then sometimes we're going to end up getting things that, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, okay. That Urkel thing, did I do that? Everything that you experience, everything that you have in your life, you created it. You brought it into your experience. You brought it into your reality, your life. You did that. And good, bad, or indifferent, it's okay. It's all, and you know what? With God, it's okay, because God. We look at it as like, oops, my bad, but God looks at us. My children and my babies, my created beings are over there doing their thing, and hopefully learning and being blessed, learning lessons, or receiving blessings, whichever the case may be. In my opinion, lesson is a blessing, because once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Okay, so um, that's who we are. That's who we are. That's what we do. And that we have all of these wonderful creative tools, powers, and abilities that we use to accomplish and do that. Bring our dreams into reality. Bring our wishes, make our wishes come true. You say that they say that who makes your wishes? You make your wishes come true. You make your wishes come. You do that. You decide. You decide what you want, and you draw them to you. You bring them to you by your manifestation powers and abilities and tools that you use. So announcements. A couple of announcements. Absolute. Okay, I wanted to first of all ask you if you haven't already subscribed to our channel to subscribe. We're trying to build a community here. Is what they call it in YouTube. In YouTube venue, they call it a community, and we are trying to build a community here. So please, please, if you would be so kind as to subscribe, and also leave us a comment if you happen to take a listen to some of our content, or you're on our channel sometime, just browsing around, leave a comment, tell us what you want to hear, or what you don't want to hear, what you heard that you don't want to hear again, or whatever. Leave us a comment. Give us a thumb up if we're okay in your book or by you. And leave us a thumb down if we're not. But just if you leave us a thumb down, we're going to be looking for a comment to go with that thumb down, to find out just what we need to do to cause to get a thumbs up from you in the future. So please subscribe, comment, and also share our content. Tell folk about us. If we're talking about, if it's a topic or a subject matter that you think someone in your network or your social network or your network of families and family and friends would benefit from, please stop, just share it, share the information. I am a life coach by I'm going to say I'm retired, so it's retired profession, my second profession. But anyway, I do some life coaching. I have a few clients. I'm kind of into traveling. It's checking off my bucket list. So I've been traveling. I do some traveling. So I try not to have too many irons in the fire. So I maintain a few clients, and if you're interested in any of our services, we do some workshops. Right now, in fact, we're doing a manifestation workshop, and it's a six session workshop, and we're doing session number 2, and it's manifestation. It's the steps of manifestation. We're doing step number 2, which is visualization and imagination, on this coming Sunday at 7:00. So I left the information in the comments and the description of this particular broadcast, so you can take a look. If you'd like to, please register to join us on Sunday at 7. It's gonna be kind of fun on Sunday, because Sunday we're gonna be actually deciding which of the 9 islands. We narrowed it down to 2. Which of the 2 out of the 9 islands, we narrowed it down to 2 islands on Hawaii. Which one we're gonna go? Gonna actually do a 5-day retreat. So what we're doing with this particular manifestation workshop is we're manifesting. We're actually manifesting something, and we're manifesting that 5 days retreat in Hawaii, on one of the islands in Hawaii. So this coming Sunday, we will have Dr. Amber Ellington, and you may know her from our Facebook group page. She's actually resides on one of the islands in Kona, one the Big Island. She resides over there, and she's actually going to be the co-host. She's going to receive us in Hawaii when we get there. But she's going to be presenting a slideshow of excursions that we can take advantage of while we're there on those 5 days. She's got some beautiful, she was sharing with me, she's got some beautiful information that she's going to be sharing about just both excursions on both islands. So we're going to decide tonight, or on Sunday night, we're going to decide which island we're going to we're going to pick one of the 2 islands and decide which two, and then we're going to take kind of meditate on those excursions, and then the following session in June, we meet again in June. We're going to look at hotels, and we're going to look at venues where we're going to stay, what resort areas we're going to, we're going to host our 5-day retreat. And we also take a look at some of the excursions that we can also take advantage of. So if you're interested in, just fine tuning or improving or, building on your manifestation abilities and powers and know-how, you might want to take advantage of the sessions. It's free for, it's free if you want to attend. We're not charging anything for it. However, we're recording it. We're recording the session, and we're actually uploading the recorded session on our website. We're putting it on our website. I don't think we're putting it on our YouTube channel. We're putting it on our website, and there is a small fee for renting that, and I think you can rent it up to 3 days, so you can listen to the tape. And it's usually the session itself, the lecture session, and we're going to be talking about. We talked about intention. If you missed that session, if you're interested in that session, you can go on the website and actually download that session to kind of get a little bit more information, a little bit more helpful information about how to set an intention, what an intention is, what it's, what you can expect once you set it. It was a fairly decent session. I think everybody that attended, kind of gave it a thumbs up. So if you're interested in that, go to our website, download that intention, and if you miss on Sunday, you can just we'll upload all of those to our website, so you can do a follow-up there. And I think it's either $3 or $4 to rent them, and I think you rent them for 3 or 4 days or something like that. Anyway, I think that's all the announcement. On Sunday, I will be at Interfaith ITC, Interfaith Truth Center. I deliver the Sunday morning gathering with spiritual gathering service message on every fourth Sunday, and I'll be there to deliver the message on Sunday at 11 o'clock. So if you happen to be in Austell, Georgia, US of A, come by and join us for our Sunday morning spiritual gathering service. It's our Sunday morning worship service. Okay. I think that's all I have. Yes, I think so. Make sure. And I did put the link to register for the workshop. I put that in the community, in the description. It is in the description here. You can also find it on the Facebook page if you're interested in that's our Team Conscious Creators Facebook page, Facebook group page. You can also find it posted in there's several posts in there that talks about shares about it's called the Magic, Miracles, and Manifestation Workshop. It's a 6-session workshop, and we're going to be doing session 2. We'll be doing session 2 this Sunday, and the 4th Sunday in June we'll do session 3, and July and August, every 4th Sunday we'll until we have to fly off to Hawaii. We're gonna probably we may end up doing our last session in Hawaii. I'm not sure. I think that it works out that we'll have a celebration of the manifestation in Hawaii. So, and you don't have to be going to Hawaii with this. The same steps that we're going to be using for manifesting our 5-day retreat. You can use them for manifesting that new job that you want, or manifesting that home that you want, manifesting getting out of debt, whatever it is that you want to manifest. You don't have to, we would love to have you come to Hawaii with us, because I think it'll be fun. You'd love it. It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful world over there. But if you want to just hang in and just come, take advantage of it. Like I said, it's free to attend the workshop. The follow-ups, we have to kind of pay Zoom and pay the website for hosting hosting the recorded videos. So we have to make a small little charge or donation. We ask for that and for those, but I think it's well worth it. I do it personally. I think it is, because I think anytime we can get information that will improve or enhance us or help us grow, it's a few dollars is just a small price to pay. All right, all right, all right. That is those are my announcements. I think I'm gonna be. How much time we got here? Under 30 minutes, right? Okay. All right. Ego. The topic we're talking tonight is we're talking about train ego to take a back seat. Now we know from previous sessions, and we know ego. We know ego because we all have an ego. Okay, we all have that personality residing right along with us. Kind of a stowaway, if you would, or just grabbed a ride, a stowaway, or just but be careful, because they will hijack. They're known to hijack. Egos are known to hijack, so be careful and watchful of that. So wake up, wake up. But absolutely every single person we encounter or who enters our lives are subject to come and go. They can come, people come into our lives, and then they leave our lives. Some for various reasons, some because we want them to go, or they want to go, or they die, they pass away, they move away, they have a change of heart about us. They decide that they need to detach and move away from us, so we need to do that. Whatever. Absolutely everybody in that we know that we have a relationship with or have a connection with is subject at some point in time to leave our lives, to go away, with the exception of one personality will be with you from the time they said, that's you, or that's me, in that mirror when you were that baby. Is going to be with you right up until you take that last breath. All right. So I don't know how you treat your other relationships and your other connections, but they grow. You meet them, and you develop the relationship, and you exchange conversations, and you set boundaries, and you violate boundaries, and you have to regroup, and you have discussions, and you have disagreements, and you come back together again. All of that we do with people and other connections and other relationships that we have. Do we do that? Do we bother about doing that with ego? Do we? Can you just imagine having a son or a daughter, and just letting things just work themselves out in the relationship? No, you don't. If you have a child, what you're going to do is you're going to first of all, you got to nurture it. You got to nurture that child. You got to help that child inseminate, kind of get used to being a part of the world, a part of the life, a part of the family, a part of society. So you got to bring that child into the fold, if you would. And then you're not going to just bring it into the fold and go on about your business. No, you're going to monitor that child. You're going to make sure that child have everything it needs, get that education, get set up. You even, I know we have play dates. Remember, parents have play dates for kids, so they help them make connections. We do all of that for our human relationships and our families and our friends. We do all of that, and we spend a lot of time. And it's a complicated situation. Relationships are very complicated, very tricky, very time consuming. It's and we put a lot of effort in it. We want to be loved. We want to love back. We want things to, just, we want a good relationship. We want a good connection. We nurture it. We don't ignore it. I don't know about you. It was until just recently that I realized how important relationships were. And I also noted that the relationship that will lasts from day one to day whatever to the last day, I have not even bothered about spending any time with even getting to know who ego is, or who what ego was, or what ego needed. Every relationship has a need. Every relationship needs attention. Every relationship needs involvement. Every relationship needs communication, affection, discussions, care, nurturing, attention, basically. And I think that we are guilty of, I don't know, taking advantage or taking for granted, ignoring all of the above for ego. Now, it's okay with ego, I believe, for the most part, because ego likes likes to be hidden under the, kind of, I'm here, but I'm not so here that you gotta, bother me or stop me or chastise me or whatever. One of those, like a teenager. They want, how teenagers are when they get to that teenage. They don't want you to. They want to be stuck in their room. They what they want to do. Have at whatever they want to have at, and don't get caught. That's what our teenagers want to do. Okay. Ego like that. Ego is like that too. Ego is always going to be like that until and unless you, as the driver, as the captain of your destiny, of your life, this is your life's journey. This is your life's journey. It's not ego's life journey. Ego is a lifelong companion on that journey, but it's not his journey or her journey. Ego's journey, ego doesn't, no, ego's along for the ride. You, me, we have to, absolutely a must, that we recognize and we honor that and we know that. Just the fact of being the master of your own destiny, or the captain of your own ship, or the navigator of your life journey, it cannot be in word only. It's got to be in action as well. And that's why it's important. It's why it's so important to get to know who's with you, who you got in the car with you, who you got on the boat with you, who you got, who's on this ride with you, and what's up with them? What's up with whoever is on that ride with you? Ego's on the ride with you, and ego's going to be on that ride with you. So I've been working with a couple of clients, and I'm working on, and they kind of talked me into this. We've been working on ego and some aspects, and some, just some aspects of ego for the most part. And what I decided, you know what, maybe I should put together a workshop. And I'm kind of in the process of putting together the workshop, and in the process, which kind of came in handy tonight, because what I was able to do is what I've been kind of outlining on the sessions that I want to talk about, and how I want to approach the work on. And I think the work we're going to call the workshop ego work, something like shadow work, similar, but we're going to call it specifically ego work. Because we're going to hone in on ego more so than that shadowy thing. But that's, and is it the same thing? We'll talk about that in another session. But in that session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how the work basically is how you train ego to take a back seat to on the journey, on your life's journey, and help ego understand its role in and on the journey, on the ride, what's expected of ego, and what's not going to be acceptable, as a passenger, as a a backseat driver, or a passenger, or on the wherever you decide to put ego on your trip, on your ride. It's up to you. But please, 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 please tell me that ego ain't gonna be driving the car. Okay, ego is not gonna be driving this thing. All right, wherever you put him, in the passenger seat or in the back seat or in the trunk, I don't know. Just not in the driver's seat. But we're going to be look with that this particular workshop that I'm working on hopefully I have it done by the end of the year. We're going to start it maybe next year because it's going to kind of probably take me some time to, pull all the pieces together and kind of work through with some guinea pigs clients. Like some of my clients are going to be my guinea pigs to kind of get me going. But we're gonna actually be training ego we're going to learn how. The session is going to give us the tools to train ego to take the back seat. Now, ego can be a little bit stubborn and look a little bit up, just take over and, just like most kids can, like a normal kid could be. Ego can do that and then some. But, with a little loving care, we're going to nurture and bring ego up to be the best life journey traveling buddy you can have, since he's going to be there anyway. We're going to make sure he's going to be the best. All right. So that's what the workshop is going to do. But what I'm going to do is I want to share six, I want to call them 6 instructions or 6 points or 6 things that I want that will help you that you can use in training. Six items, 6 tools that you can use, 6 approaches that you can use in training ego to be the best life journey traveling companion or buddy you could possibly have. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to talk about those 6 items or those six steps. We can call them steps. We can call them items. We can call them, let's call them steps. We're going to call them 6 steps. This is a work in progress, but I'm going to share it with you. We're going to probably talk about 2 or 3 of these tonight, and we're going to finish up the last 3 probably next week. I don't think I'm going to make it through the whole session tonight on this one, but let's just talk a little bit about it. Let's just talk a little bit. Again, I dare to even say or think that maybe a handful of us have even given much thought to our relationship to ego. All right. And this workshop is going to force you or put the relationship with ego on the front burner. Going to put it right up front and personal so you can start dealing with ego in a more buddy kind of way, friendly kind of way. Ego's going to be there. So you gotta ego's like if you're a mom or a dad or a parent, the kids, you have the kid, once you become mama, you're mama forever. Even after the kids are gone, whatever, you're still mom. You can go to heaven and you're gonna still be mom. So ego's like that. But ego don't go any further than the last breath. Okay, ego's done. When you take that last breath, ego's done. Ego dies too. Okay. Ego dies too. But anyway, step one. I'm gonna give you all 6 steps tonight, but I'm gonna only kind of probably talk about a couple of them tonight, and then we'll finish up the next time. The first one, step 1, is to allow your ego to reintroduce him or herself. And I say that reintroduce because just being aware of who ego is. And we've already talked about, ego's characteristics and do's and don'ts. And he's, whether ego's an enemy or a frenemy or whatever, we've already talked about some of those things in some previous sessions. But we do need to take time because ego's going to be with us. Ego is that personality is going to be with us all from now on. So we want to take time to get to know the difference between the voice that we hear, which could be ego, most times it is, or is it a higher self? So we need to take the time. We need to get reacquainted with ego. And remember, ego grew up just like you grew up. You're not the same person that you were when you were a baby, when you were 7 or 8 months old or 8 or 9 months old, when you first saw that face that reflection in the mirror, and you wanted to know who that was. And ego said, that's you, or that's me, So you're not that same person. You're not the same person. You have grown through experience, you've grown through age, you've grown through time, you've grown up. You're heavier, you're taller, and ego has grown up too. Ego grew up too. Did you stop to think and really stop and think about this? Just give that some thought. Okay. So this is the time, this workshop, this step is a time for you to, you don't have to go back to the mirror because ego's there, because ego makes it very well known that ego's around. Okay. So you just reacquaint yourself, reintroduce yourself, tell ego what's been going on, find out what ego's been doing, just kind of, get down, just right, just like with any other friend. You're meeting maybe for the first time, or you've been away from them for years, and you're catching up. So catch up. We got to have a period of, step one is to reintroduce yourself and catch up with ego, because ego grew up. Ego grew up. It's not that same little baby that said, that's me or that's you. Now, step number two is have a friendly encounter. Now, what I mean about having a friendly encounter is to get to know ego just in a latent position or a latent state. In a latent state, I mean, you know, not in action. Ego's not in action. Just hey, how you call somebody up and say, hey, let's go to the movie, or let's go have dinner, or let's walk in the park, or let's hang out. So just hang out with ego sometimes. Just step one, step two is just take some time to just hang out with ego when ego is not trying to convince you of something or trying to prove himself or herself. Just when everything is cool, you know, wake up one morning and say, you know what, ego, this is going to be our day. This is going to be our day. And that's, you just get to be friends with ego. All right. And like I say, we tag ego to be very not, just bold and big mouth and never shut up and never be quiet and stubborn and opinionated and all those things. Okay. But we're gonna tone it down. We're gonna see ego not in any of those roles or not in any of that action. We're gonna just see ego. We're just gonna talk to ego. And we're gonna, just kind of have a conversation with ego and hang out with ego and take time. These steps are not, it's not just, you know, a 10-minute deal or a 15-minute deal. It may take some time, may take a couple of weeks or maybe take longer. You may want to, spend a weekend with ego and just kind of just being happy and friendly and laughing and carrying on and reminding ego of some of the things that, laugh about how you laugh about things that happened to you in the past, the things that you've gone through together. You can laugh about those things. And you're not getting any opinions. We're just reminiscing about old times. Me and ego. Okay. You and your ego. Step three is give ego a name. Now, that one is very interesting to me because ego, here this personality is that's traveling with you all of your life. And you and I just call it ego. How would you like for your parents to bring you into the world, bring you into the fold, and just call you that girl or that boy or that baby or that son or that daughter? We got names. We got names and we got titles and we got tags and we got all kinds of stuff. We can give ego all kinds of tags and all kind of labels. We can call him all kind of give him all kind of attributes, titles to all these attributes that he has and the behaviors and how he acts. We can define him through all those labels, but we never give ego a name. We never do. I did. I named my ego. I named ego. My ego's name is Don, and it could be either short for Donald or Donna. Okay, we're either one. It's kind of how ego's acting because egos can be either or. And sometimes I don't even know if ego has a. I don't know if it has a sex, but that just the just the stuff that it does, he's acting bossy and acting like he's a man of the house and he can run over stuff. Then he's Don or Donald, or I could be Donna. So he's either I name my ego is named Don for Donald or Donna. What's going on with ego. So give ego a name. Just out of, that's your friend of me or whatever. But even your friend of me has a name. Your enemies have a name. Your dogs have names. Your cats have names. Your cars have names. Some people name their shoes. Some people, your rooms have names. Everything has a name. But we just give ego, just a little bit disrespectful. So let's give him a little. Let's give him a little respect. And does he deserve it? I think that anybody's going to hang out with me for the rest of my life, and I can't do anything about it. Hey, he got my respect, okay? Or she has my respect. So Donna is mine. Name yours. You name your ego whatever you desire. Now that too going to take some time, because the process that we talk about, how you name it, it's not something that you just, put a name on. I chose Don because, like I said, it's short for Donald or Donna. So according to what's going on at the moment, and I want you when you're naming your ego, you name your ego according to the characteristics, the perspective that it takes, the attitudes that it has, behavior, whatever, make sure the name means something to you when you name it. That's another step. Number four step is to meet the triggered ego. Now we know. Well, I take that back. We don't always know when it's ego that's acting up. We probably think, oh, that's me. Look what I did. Yeah, and you did it because, ego made you do it. or ego, because you gave ego that control at the time. So ego, you did it. But it's on you. It's on you, because ego hides behind you. Okay. But anyway, we want to meet that triggered ego, we want to get familiar with it. And I don't want to think, I'm not talking about, or just get familiar. Get familiar with the triggers, the things that causes ego to motivate ego into action or reaction. And it's usually ego always react. Ego never acts. Ego reacts to whatever. All right. So we want to get familiar with those things that trigger ego's action, ego's behavior. We know how ego acts, and sometimes, when we want to, go hide ourselves because of what we've gone through, with whatever situation, incident. But anyway, meet the ego, get familiar with ego's triggers. Number 5, accept ego. Learn to accept ego. Learn to appreciate ego. Now, ego, like I said, ego is a lifetime companion. He or she, whatever you want to call ego, ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. So show appreciation. Show, just won't hurt nothing. Just, be kind of fun. You could have a you can have a birthday party for ego, you know. Just, maybe a few months after yours, you can have, I remember that, the first time I saw you in the mirror. Maybe you're 7 months old. Maybe after your birthday, 7 months later, you can have a birthday party for ego. Show appreciation to ego and accept ego, because ego is not going anywhere until you take your last breath. Then y'all will go together. Okay. And number 6 is optional. That's going to be something I'm going to kind of talk. I want to think about how I want to approach this one. And what I'm calling this one is, this is kind of a practice run kind of thing, strictly. And I'm going to make it kind of an advance. It may be something that rolls into even a second workshop. But this one, step number 6, or step number 1, or step number interval, it might be. I'm calling it load your gun and pull your own trigger. All right. And basically what I want to say is, I want you to this particular step allows you to deliberately set up scenarios, kind of like play acting, to see to work through with ego, kind of like my grandparents when we were younger. Everything about our life, when I was young, before starting school, I remember, well, even after school, it was everything that we did was lessons. It was everything about, everything we did was an opportunity for them for my parents, my grandparents, to teach us something through that. So that's kind of similar what I'm talking about here when I say load the gun and pull the trigger. Really the only time that ego comes to comes up, it shows his or her head, is when something needs to be reacted to or taken care of. He's to take the closer or whatever, or the bouncer. Ego's the bouncer. So, we set up scenarios so that we can help walk ego through and help ego understand what's appropriate. What's appropriate. If you're gonna ride with me, this is what we got to do. This is how we got to do it. Ego, or Jessica, or Jan, or Sam, or Fred, whatever, whoever you call him. But we wanna help ego help ego, give him some life lessons, and that's creating scenarios and being aware, teaching ourselves how to be aware of ego, learning ego's voice, learning ego's tone, learning ego's, you know feelings, and how ego or she reacts, that causes you, your wrinkles over, your frowns on your face, or your you know you're gritting your teeth, and the knot in your stomach, all those things that, ego behavior kind of instigate or cause in you. So we learn those things in step 6. We practice them, and we learn how to diffuse, or how to, you know I don't know, takes you, what do you do when you're used to diffuse or to take the bullets out of the gun, or whatever, to kind of be ready for the triggers, to prepare ourselves for the triggers, so that we can help ego be that best life journey buddy companion that we could ever have, because the ego's going to be our companion until we're done. Okay, we're done with the journey. So those are the 6 steps, and I'm going to I'm just going to probably just kind of lay them out tonight, because I think we're just about running out. Yeah, we're just about running out of time. But I'm just going to lay them out tonight, and next week we'll look at them a little closer. It looks like we're going to be talking about ego a little bit longer, so we're going to have to put off our talk about creation, and was another topic that somebody suggested. But we're going to be talking about training ego to take a back seat, part 2, next week. So let me go back. Let me kind of give you another glimpse at these 6 steps that we're going to be talking about. Give them to you again so you'll know what they are. Step number 1. Step number 1 is we are going to, where did I put the step? Step number 1 is allow ego to get reacquainted with ego. Allow ego to introduce himself, herself. Number 2 is we have set up a friendly time to spend with ego, to have some friend time, some play time with, or just hang out time with ego. We call it have a friendly encounter. It's a step 2. Step number 3 is give ego a name. Name your ego. You name your car, you name your dog, you name your cat, you name your bird, you name your fish. Name your ego. Name your ego. Number 4, we're going to meet the triggered ego. We're going to meet the trigger, and that's gonna take some practice. All of these steps are going to take practice. It's not something that you can do in a day or a couple of hours. Each one of these steps it's a process, and we're going to talk about how you do each one of these steps. It's going to be part of the next week when we start talking about the individual sessions. I'm going to show you what to expect when you're when ego introduces himself or herself. I'm going to tell you, going to give you, kind of walk you through that, walk you through, kind of, getting to know the softer side of ego rather than the hard nosed, obstinate, opinionated, hard headed, stubborn ego. We're gonna, let ego has a soft side. Believe it or not, ego has a soft side. Yeah. Yeah, he just hasn't been he hasn't or she hasn't introduced that to you yet. So introducing is the first step. The second step is to have that friendly time, some playtime with ego. Take ego to the park. The number three is to name ego. Mm, You can my Don can meet your whoever your ego is. Number four is meet the triggered ego. An ego that's all up in your face and all up in somebody else's face and wants you to be up in somebody's face. That ego. You want to meet that. You want to meet that ego in action. We want to meet him, meet that ego in action or her in action. Number five is here's number five. Show appreciation and acceptance of ego. I'm going to show you how you do that, how you actually walk through that. Number six is it will be optional. It may be going into hedgeway into another workshop or another workshop, and that is actually setting up learning scenarios so that you can walk ego through what you expect. How that's when you're actually using that particular time to reinforce, identify, and reinforce boundaries for ego. Because right now, to be quite honest with yourself and with each other and with ego. Ego has no boundaries. You haven't set any boundaries for ego. Egos don't believe in boundaries, and ego doesn't want. And you know what? All of these things are going to be very uncomfortable. They're not. I don't think any of them. When we start looking at exactly how to work the steps, they're not going to be comfortable steps at all. Because first of all, ego loves to be incognito. It don't ego don't want you to look at ego. Don't want to be don't want you to be up in ego's face and in ego's business. Ego wants to do things in the dark and behind the scene, undercover, and then he pushes you out front to take the blame, whatever. That's ego. And so it's not going to be a comfortable thing to all of a sudden say, hey, no, I am not, it's not happening again, ego. So I'm watching you. I got my eyes on you. Ego's not gonna like that. It's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be uncomfortable for you too, because it's what? Just yes, you too. Yeah. So be prepared. Next week we're gonna talk about steps, a few of the steps next week. And again, I don't know if we can do all of them 6 next week because it's I kind of suspect a lot of details. There's a lot of mindful work, a lot of mindfulness is going to be in there, a lot of kind of monitoring yourself and you know taking time to listen to the self-talk, your self-talk, the talk that you hear in your ear, um, going back and retracing and relooking at situations or incidents that happen where ego did made a mess that you had to go clean up. So you're going to be looking at all of those things through each one of all the steps. Each one of the steps will have a whole battery of to do. Have a to do list for you to do for each one of these steps. It's not something again that you can do just overnight or you do it. You may, not even naming. This is probably the most simplest one is naming. Naming ego is going to take a little time too, because when you name your child, you just didn't, you took time to name and you had a deliberation about it. You had a purpose and a reason behind it. So we want to do the same for ego. And everybody deserves a name. Ego deserves one too, whether it's a friend or an enemy. But ego is not the enemy, by the way. Ego is not the enemy. That's all I have tonight. I'm gonna leave it at that. I appreciate the time that I can spend with you. Appreciate the opportunity to share my understanding, share my experiences that I have with my clients. And in fact, my clients have it's actually going to be very instrumental in me putting this workshop together. not sure how we're going to do it. We've got 6 steps, and I'm kind of thinking that we'll take 1 step a month, and we work on 1 step a month and go forth. So it's going to be kind of a 6 month session, 6 month workshop, or 3 to 6 month workshop. I'm not sure exactly how we want to run that, but it's because there's a lot of information out there, and it is similar to shadow work, but I'm going to call it ego work because that's what um I don't know. That's what ego is, our shadow, I guess. We can call it our shadow. But that's a, that's a, I have my opinion about that, or my idea and concepts about that. And that's still, well, that too is a work in progress. Because well, everything is a work in progress for me. The more I get to know and understand a subject matter or a thing, it changes. So I try to stay open, and hopefully that you do the same. You try to stay open. I appreciate it, and I'm gonna end it tonight. Thanks so much for joining me, and please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week. And until next week, just remember that you manifest best. Remember that I love you because God loves you, and because you are love. So have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Oh, this is a holiday weekend, so I'll see you next. Have a great and a safe Memorial weekend if you're here in the U.S. Take care and good night.